Good day, Mom. Good day, classmates. Today, I am going to talk about Revised Bloom's Taxonomy. Revised Bloom's Taxonomy is developed by Lauren Anderson, former student of Bloom and David Krathwohl. It revised to be more powerful and relevant tool to today's teacher. Revised Bloom's taxonomy emphasizes students' learning outcomes through the use of refined terms. The taxonomy is aimed at wider audiences and attempts to be more universal beyond grade school. Bloom's taxonomy helps the teachers to understand the objectives of classroom teaching. The changes of revised Bloom's taxonomy are A. Categories change from nouns to verbs. The verb generally refers to actions associated with the intended cognitive process. The object generally describes the knowledge students are expected to acquire or construct. B. Knowledge renamed to remembering. C. Comprehension renamed to understanding. D. Synthesis renamed to creating. And E. Synthesis and evaluation have swapped places in the hierarchy. This is the pyramid of revised Bloom's taxonomy. As we can see, meron dito yung remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, at creating. Remembering is able to recall, restate, and remember the learned information. It is about recalling relevant knowledge from long-term memory. Example, diba? If we have a lesson, the teacher will ask what our last topic about before proceeding to the next. Understanding is the learner grasps the meaning of information by interpreting and translating what has been learned. It is about constructing meaning from oral, written, and graphic messages through interpreting, exemplifying, classifying, summarizing, inferring, comparing, and explaining. In this, the students are required to interpret or summarize the ideas on their own words. Applying is when the learners makes use of information in a content different from the one in which it was learned. It is about applying an abstract idea in a concrete situation to solve a problem or relate it to prior experience. Example of this is the teacher will provide questions that require the students to define and solve problems. Analyzing is the learners breaks learned information into its parts to best understand that information. It is about breaking a material into its constituent parts and determine how the parts relate to one another. Example of this is analyzing the relationship between different characters in a play. Evaluating makes decisions based on in-depth reflection, criticism, and assessment. In this stage, learners are expected to use their knowledge and skills to appraise a situation, justify their stand, or criticize others' opinion. Creating. The learner creates new ideas and information using what has been previously learned. This is the most complex stage of the learning process and the top of the revised Bloom's taxonomy. At this level, learners combine known patterns, ideas, and facts to create original work or formulate their solution to a problem. Example, composing a song, rewrite a story in another setting, or formulate a hypothesis and propose a way of testing it. In revised Bloom's taxonomy, merong two-dimensional. First is knowledge dimension, second is cognitive process domain. Knowledge dimension or the kind of knowledge to be learned. Sa knowledge dimension, na-include na dito ang factual knowledge, conceptual, procedural, at metacognitive knowledge. Factual knowledge, it is a knowledge that is basic to specific disciplines. This dimension refers to essential facts, terminology, details, or elements students must know it be familiar with in order to understand a discipline or solve a problem in it. It is important to students because it serves as basic building blocks to understand the larger relationships among important information that define a subject. Conceptual knowledge refers to the knowledge of or understanding of concepts, principles, theories, models, classification. We learn conceptual knowledge through reading, viewing, listening, experiencing, or thoughtful, reflective mental activity. Next, procedural knowledge is the type of knowledge exercises in the performance of a task. It's basically how you know to do something. The classical example of this is riding a bicycle. When someone was teaching you how to ride a bicycle, no matter what they said, you probably struggled to grasp it until you'd actually done it a few times. Metacognitive knowledge, also called metacognitive awareness. It is what individuals know about themselves and others as cognitive processors. For example, if you can explain what your strengths are in academic writing or exam taking or other types of academic tasks, then you are metacognitively aware. And cognitive process domain or the cognitive process to be used in acquiring knowledge. Ang cognitive process domain, yun na yung revised Bloom's taxonomy that I discussed earlier. Next is category and subcategories and process and the associated verbs in the revised Bloom's Taxonomy 2001. In associated verbs, ito yung mga verb na dapat gamitin natin sa instructional planning para mas maintindihan ng mga estudyante o ng learners kung ano ang dapat nilang gawin. Last is the comparison of Bloom's taxonomy. The revised taxonomy has three major changes to original taxonomy. First is the order in the top categories has been swapped. Second, synthesis is now called creating. Ang evaluating sa old taxonomy is naa sa top while ang sa revised ay nandito na sa pangalawa. Third, the names of the 6 categories has been changed from nouns to verbs, making the new categories that are visible and measurable. Bloom's taxonomy helps teachers determine which level every learner is on and assign them on individual tasks. That would be all. Thank you for listening. I hope you understand by topic. God bless.